Hello there, welcome to another video. Hope you all enjoyed the last one that led to two of our players arguing for 2 hours. If not, it might be good for you to check that out. It'll be the last video here. If you'd like to get a read of their epic childish argument, you can do so by following the link in the description that will take you to our Discord community that's focused around this epic ancient game. And if you're enjoying the content and you would like to buy me a coffee this Christmas, you can do so on the PayPal link down below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Now this is a 4v4 that we played the other day. This is the map that is flat. It's quite flat. Though there's a little bit of elevation here. But normally it's got lots of cliffs on it and it's a pain in the ass to get through with your armies. Now, on this team we've got Evil Weasel here on the wing, we've got myself as his pocket, and then the other pocket we've got Rva, and then his wing will be Frost all the way over here. Frost facing off against Yoda as his enemy wing, his pocket being Cal here in the red as Miriam Nervo, then we've got Raph as Memstermind in the orange here, and then his wing being Hfrye. So getting into the game, there's a couple of nerfs kicking about, I think there's some lure as well, we've got a couple of Rontos that we can lure over. And Rva's unfortunate Ronto that's been spawned here, behind this cliff. This is quite rough. I've not seen such torture in a while. You can see he's already got one. This is the second, and this is the third, which I end up taking because he's just said just take it because it's too painful to go for. So looking around things, we're gonna eat the nerfs first, and then we're gonna get the Rontos on the go. And we've got the awful Trade Federation where we can't do any sort of walling. It's always painful. Especially a map like this is so nice for walling things because of the way that the trees and the cliffs tend to interlock. You can have a nice sort of defensive layout for your base. But we're not allowed such nice things as a TF. So luring the big boy over here. Gonna want to be munching him up. Carbon already placed. And we'll get the food from that. Other people, such as Raphael, put his in the nursery. I don't know how many he's actually got. He just got 2. But it will allow him to do mounties if he so wishes, even though he's the enemy pocket. I'm sure we'll see that very soon. Yoda here, getting his food on the go. Some cadus that he might want to grab. Cal, just munching through everything. I don't think he's got any carbon, is he? He's just eating everything. Not so much the carbon. Interesting moves, but I think most people will be getting the carbon now. Rva's doing the same thing. These fat boys really want to get to T2 quickly, I guess. But I kind of like having the carbon. I'm gonna have to build some farms at some point. We'll learn another Ronto over. Unfortunately, not enough space around this Ronto. I've got one here who's slightly out of the way behind the carbon. So we've got Frost declaring that he's going to be rushing Yoda here. We'll see how that goes soon enough. I think I'm going to speed it up just so we can get out this boring T1 because there's not too much to talk about. I can only say Ronto so many times. So we're getting a little second carbon processor here just because we've got lots of carbon. We're TF and you know, we can afford it. We're saving all that house monies, you know. Ronto. So learn that Ronto over. We haven't quite... Have we taken... No, we haven't taken RVs yet. Unfortunate for him. And a troop center being dropped here for Yoda. And Frost's already got his up. Frost might be maybe doing some mounties. No, he doesn't have a nursery. I wonder how his eco's looking. Yeah, not too great because he doesn't have the food to tack up, but he's got the troop center already, so he's kind of mucked up his build here. I'll compare this to Yoda. Well, Yoda's much closer to going T2 rather. I think this should really equate to. Yeah, he can tack up, and he's got farms on the way now as well alongside this. Maybe he doesn't need that farm yet, but there's a little window that you can get your 2 troop centers, make a couple of troops, and then get your farms, just to get a lead on your opponent. Because we see that Frost's now having to do the same. He's having to place farms now, but yeah, And then he's wasting all this carbon on this wall as well, which you could just put a prefab here. Like in half the amount, you could wall all of this. And then start walling this. It's very, very poor. We are being mounted by the enemy pocket. Fun times. We did not handle this well from the way that I remember this. I was not playing very well. So I'm fueled by pure anger that this is even happening to me. Why can't I just have a normal game? I think in my last game I got absolutely like tripled to hell. And then now this. Feeling hard done by. But it was good because it did get me thinking about this and how I should deal with this in the future. And not the way that I've dealt with it, I think. And I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to a point where it's appropriate. Got Weasel here getting his Ronto a little bit late. Maybe he didn't see it for a while. Him and his wing. He looks like he's going to go T3 here, but he's going to get rushed. Though we've got the double troop center before power core. That's some Age of Empires shit right there. And we've got Yoda pushing across the map now into Frost Base. I'm going to have to slow this down because there's too much going on. It looks like the Mounties that were on me, because I've got some troops out, he's gone for my wing now. And because he's trying to T3, he's just going to die to this. Even though his wing has not even got the power core down. Interesting stuff. I wish he did maybe mention it to me. I could have come over with my troops and helped. But then again, I probably should have told him that there was Mounties on the go. But then again, I would expect them to be rushing and it wouldn't matter. So, I don't know. Strange occurrences. We've got Frost tracing these two troopers, or yeah, two troopers around with all of his workers, which is not a good look. Could maybe just, you know, not do this, not lose all this mining time. But it's definitely going to snowball things out of his control here if he keeps doing that, because Yoda will send more troops and then he just won't be able to defend himself properly. He is at least building a turret, which he's definitely going to need. We can see these Mounties coming back, trying to give us some pain and suffering, but we do have like 4 troopers out, which should be more than enough to deal with this nonsense. And if you look at my resources, I muck things up, because this obviously slows me down on locks. I want to be building farms, I'm getting pushed off my carbon. I was eating some things, but that kind of went a bit slowly. I did have a Ronto here that I almost got pushed off of, but I did manage to munch it while he was going for something else. And these Mounties are just hanging about, probably looking for me. What I should have done is this should be a spaceport. So I could, because I've been mining Nova this whole time, so I could just buy a bit of food to get to T3 a little bit quicker. And also, I probably should just went air instead of mechs, because of the way that this works out. And he's obviously going to go air because, well, he's Wookiees. It's the way his eco works for this. We've got Cal, who's already T3 here with 2 airbase. But I think it's very hard for me to respond to air at this point when I'm sort of this behind. It's just the way that it's mucked up the game and the flow of things. And we can see the Weasel's just getting absolutely battered here for T3 because the troops have arrived as well, and the Mounties have already slowed him down so much. He has made it to T3, but he's got no power core. He's got no military infrastructure. And he really needs my help, but I'm not even started going T3 yet because of how much this has slowed me down. See, we're a bit behind, we don't have as many farms and stuff. But we should get there eventually. Looking around at things, it looks like the rushing sort of ended on the right hand side between Yoda and Frost. It sort of calmed down. Mainly probably because Cal is T3. And he's going straight for Rva here, who's going double airbase himself, but I'm guessing he doesn't have the air out as quick as Cal here. Interesting SimCity from Rva this game. These 3 boys are absolutely trapped. This guy walking all the way around here. I imagine there's a gap there though. And these Mounties are still kicking about, ruining my life. I'm standing over here waiting for them, but they're going to go for my Nova and probably kill a worker. And we've got Hfrye who's putting a turret down here over the Nova of Weasel. Which is definitely going to cause him some big problems. He does have some Nova over here, but kind of annoying. I would probably suggest he doesn't do that in future though. He might want that turret to defend himself, but fortunately I'm quite a bit behind because of all this nonsense. So we got Cal, who is off here sensing the weakness of Frost, and he absolutely wants his blood, and he's going to be going for it. Frost tried to do a little bit of damage to Yoda here, but he's just not finding any angles because there's 3 turrets out and he's T3 now. And he's just going to get straight onto Frost's carbon line. There's no anti-air troopers or anything out. And he's completely dependent on Rva coming here and helping him. Rva, he's got one less fighter here I think, but Cal is absolutely not microing, so it's a free trade for him. Just almost, I think he lost 3. 2 or 3 there. But he had 1 extra than him, so he's definitely won that trade very, very well. Frost is still alive, but he did lose a few workers there. Definite suffering. But looking at the state of things, it looks like both wings are in a very bad spot. We do have Weasel trying to do some damage here, but he's only got a couple of units and he's just going to lose both of them, not microing them at all, which is almost unforgivable when you're in such a bad situation. You should really be extra diligent about keeping your units alive if you're going to be aggressive with them. Because it's going to have such negative consequences for him when he wants to defend himself to any future counterattacks. Now, since Yoda's T3, he's sending a strike mechs over here to raid Frost. So Frost is having a really bad time because he almost feels like he maybe wants to make some anti-air troopers, but he hasn't done that, so what do I know. Making a turret over here behind his carbon line. He's definitely going to want to hide with the turrets, but he's going to struggle just to deal with these strike mechs. Some air arriving here on my wing, who should have his own air, but remember he threw those fighters away. So this is just doubly worse for him. And we're so slow because of the Mounties and because we've gone mech. This is why I think I should have just gone air, so I could do a better job of keeping him alive. Because I think the way that the game gets thrown out of a loop, I can't do things the same way that I would want to. And I can't do damage as quickly as I would like with these strike mechs. As we could just make a mech destroyer. I do try and lure them away, but it's tricksy to get what we want in terms of damage. I do make this heavy weapons factory to send him some AA mobiles and eventually maybe rescue him, but yeah, it's not as quick as a response. I think in a normal T3 I can get the AA mobiles out a lot quicker before this like count of fighters hits. The Rva is got some downtime, but he's kind of just sacrificed Frost to come and help this guy. Which is the problem with this. So Frost is pretty much dead now, but it's not like he built any anti-air troopers, it would seem. So he's just hiding in his turrets. At least he's got the turrets to hide in though. And we're going to have no choice but to sort of just half boom. We can't really do any damage, it's just too slow for us to get any strike mech deeps out, and our wing's practically almost dead anyway. It's just a lot of series of unfortunate events all cascading together. And now Frost is getting raided with the strike mechs as well. No mercy. Here's the great little moment about the gate, Rva, if you're watching. We discussed it, you were like, why did he put this gate? Well, this is why. For this great escape here into this turret. Now you know. So, looking around things, it's Hfrye just hitting T3 now. Raph is doing a bit of a boom, I guess. He's just chilling. He's only on the 2 command centres at the moment. Got a lot on his ore. Don't know if he maybe wants his own turrets or something. Got Weasel losing another fighter here. I'm not sure what he's doing. He should just be keeping these to keep himself alive. He can't do any raiding. He just never have enough. We sent him an anti-air maybe, although that's there at least to help him out a bit. Cal's a lot of air. I wonder, I do remember he killed Rva's air, and I think I've just missed that. So I think Rva's just lost all of his fighters for basically free, I think. If I look at the count of Cal's, and I cannot see Rva's anywhere. Just got 3 here. So that's a pretty bad thing for him. And he is Empire as well, he might not want to make any more after that, but no, he's still going for it. He loves his air. But Cal is being a bit passive now. I think they've pretty much decided Frost is dead. Let's not worry about him anymore. And ourselves, we're just building lots of farms. We're chilling. Weasel finally getting a second command centre, that's good. Still this turret, but he's going to clear it out with his bomber. But there's a bit of a counter-attack from Hfrye, going to march across the map into his base. Which he's not going to be very well equipped to deal with. See these two fighters I lured over here with a strike mech, they're actually still here. Cool. That's good to know. It's a defensive fort here from Raphael. Maybe thinking about getting a cheeky T4 on the go. It's going to be very good to cover his farms and stuff. That's maybe why I had all these workers on over. I like the fort when you T4 because you can garrison like 25 units in it. It's comfy. And it gives you a bit of like defensive structure against two elements of raiding. So Cal has pretty much just decided he's not gotten any blood in the last like 20 seconds, so he's going straight back to Frost again just to punch him some more. All his fighters here. Rva's just had his just chilling in his base, probably in shock from losing all of his. Try to delete the memory. But he's probably going to have to come over here and help Frost again. Any day now. Frost, who's still not made any units to defend himself. Man, there's just a ridiculous amount of strike mechs. There's some Balam tier strike mechs running around here now. Air from Rva on its way. Might run into these strike mechs and start shooting them though if it's on patrol. That is on a movement command. Let's go in with the flank. Oh, perfect! This is like the perfect moment for him. This is karma. He loses all his for free, now Cal loses his, but that's a ton of strike mechs that are just getting onto him now. And we can see our guy is getting a bit of a slapping here, so we really, at this point, I really want to raid Raph here and stop him T3ing or T4ing, but I just can't because my wing is just going to die. And I need to come and help him with his wing here. It's just a really unfortunate game for our side here, the way things have worked out. We are going to get some good hits here on these grenadiers, which is going to make this a lot easier to deal with. Try and kill some of the anti-air. Just take away the comfort of this guy, he's freely pushing here. And I was making strike mechs because, well, I wanted a big bunch so I could go and raid here. See, I'm going to build some mech. In fact, I wanted to go T4 strike mechs, but this is ruining my plans. All we really need is for our boy Weasel to just fire out a fort and get some speeders, and he'll be good. Here's rebels. But me and Rva just sort of chilling, dreading the T4 air that's likely to come. Since both their pockets here are air civs, we're both mech civs. See the interesting way that has worked out like that. A lot of air sitting here in Yoda's base as he sends more strike mechs to raid Frost, which is, you must have diminishing returns at this point trying to raid this guy. Is even he's still T2, it's 35 minutes. Evil Weasel is healing. It's getting a little bit stronger. Anyone T4 yet? Not yet. People have been delaying it a little bit just for the extended raiding, I think. And I think in Raph's case he's just been booming a lot more. Maybe the fort did slow him down for a bit though. Because he had a lot of workers on him early. And these guys are not looking too efficient. We're gonna try to grab up all this Nova. It's looking juicy. So we've got Cal hitting T4 now, and he does have a lot of fighters. Or he did, I don't know where they are. There's no way he's lost all of his fighters. What? Am I blind? I try to raid Raph here, but it's proving a bit awkward. These are just the strike mechs I had here in Weasel's base. I do not know where Cal's fighters are hidden. I cannot imagine he lost them. There's no way he lost them all. There's so many. Yeah, I can't find them. The only thing I could imagine is he went to Rva's base and lost them in a bad trade or something. But... oh, they're there, for God's sake. Like, they're so well hidden against the bloody purple. God damn, there they are. Right, he's not lost them. I didn't think it was possible. But I was starting to doubt. So a good amount of mech destroyers here to chase these strike mechs from Yoda. So Yoda just shifting the attention onto Rva now that we're pretty much confident that Frost's in a bad place. And another push here on my wing, which as I'm trying to like raid and kill his workers, then I need to come over and help with again. Just feels bad. If only we had left like a fort here. A fort here would be so good. Get the speeders out. So we're just going to have to rally everything here. We're on our way to T4. I think Raphael should be T4 now. Yeah, he's already T4. So we've got his heir to get upgraded and raided with as well. And Cal now on his way en route to Rva's base. As he's having trouble getting 2v1 by these two guys. But they're sort of going into a sort of killing field here where he's got all these mech destroyers. And I must know if he's gotten the greatest upgrade. Bear with me as I try to remember where the research centre is. He does have tracking. So tracking is extremely important here. And you can see this is why these are all getting murdered. Because it basically means the mech destroyers are not going to miss when they shoot these strike mechs. And yeah. You're going to regret raiding there. But many workers going down, particularly around the Nova piles here. Because they never seem to get the memo about going into command centres. And all these guys are going to get slapped down as well. So it's going to be a huge amount of casualties. What, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll take a while to get all those workers back with the command centre count. And us ourselves are going to experience the exact same sort of phenomenon. Just without the annoying raiding of strike mechs. But what we do have right now is Operation Save the Weasel. As we're rallying things over here. We've got our troopers from earlier, those lads. They're chilling here. And Cal now raiding houses. Still eager for more blood. But Rva's gotten his upgrade for his turrets now, he's weathered the sort of storm there. And we should be T4 as well. I imagine we are upgrading the turrets. It's almost done. We've got Cal in the base now as well. The worker killing boys, searching for workers. As we've got our guy here getting a fort finally. And we're just going to sit and reinforce that. Little A mobiles here clipping away. The fort should go up though before he can kill these. That's good. Just to hide these workers, not lose them. I'm getting a heavy anti-air mobiles as well. Try and upgrade these. Just in case he sort of hung about shooting his workers. Rva try to build some turrets here for. He's very generous. 3 turrets. And a fortress here. Where you got all this ore? Fucking ore baron Rva here. Swimming in ore. And we want to come forward and shoot these pummels. Don't want them getting to the fortress here. And we're going to build a turret here as well, I think, just so we never get pushed away with just air sitting on top of the armies. But we're looking pretty poor in terms of our eco right now. 120 pop. Rva just a little bit ahead of us there. Firing out units like there's no tomorrow. Trying to get a forward up here, but having it harassed. And now, we did get this fort up at the very least, and Frost tried to build a power core and a shield generator with it, which will stop this early push here from Yoda. I think maybe seeing those mech destroyers from Yoda, he'd know that there's not really any strike mechs anymore, and he could maybe pool all his defensive ones and just send them off to the front line there. We on the other hand are just going to be sitting here, try to help out our boy Weasel. trying to get an army together. And I started rallying workers up here because I saw this ore and I saw this Nova and I was like, I need to grab that, I want that to be for us. And it looks like Raph's doing the same thing over here in the middle. He's getting us forward up with all these heavy weapons factories, strike mech, and he's starting to upgrade his artillery and get those fired out. As we know, the Wookiees have got 12 range on their artillery, one extra than the other players when they've got their upgrades, which makes them an absolute menace to deal with. So Yoda getting his heavy mech destroyers a little bit quicker than Rva here. He seems to be a bit ahead on the upgrades as well, which is understandable because he's not been T4A'd and strike mech to death. He's getting this nice shield here. Power core here behind the little cliff. I'm going to look to come forward and harass that position. Have we not finished this mech factory? This heavy weapons factory. It's just sitting there. Still building out of his mech factories all the way down here inside of his base. It takes a while for them to get up here into the front. It could just become a numbers game for him here. And on the other side of things, we've got the air supporting this push from Hfrye. There's a few speeders out, which is nice for us now. I've just got a few units here just to guarantee he doesn't push too much further. I do have this army that's going to be building up here. And threatening us from the northern part of our base. It's a very good... You see Yoda's almost stood on top of his cannon here to stop Rva even coming forward and clicking it, and he's just losing the shield from Frost here. He's going to lose this turret as well. It's kind of rough. Don't really want to be losing those things for free early in the fight. You want to at least make your opponent commit for them. Lose some units for it, but that's very unfortunate there. I'm going to lose this command center, but let's face it, it's too close to this push anyway. It's doomed. And we're going to throw out some assault mechs here because I think we just needed some tanky, burly, big damage boys out there. Big metal bugs. So they always kind of look like bugs to me, like big beetles or something. Laying out the deeps there. And Yoda's still pushing here, just uncontested at the moment, as Rva is getting his upgrades. So he's got one of the HP ones there. Still a few in his base. We've got Weasel dropping a shield down for the army, which is good, we need that. And you can see the big bug doing the deeps there. Killing off this artillery because they're not really that upgraded. I mean, this army is still sort of just T3 tech. But now we're getting pushed on by Raphael here, which we're not really ready for yet, at all. We've just been recovering our eco, firing out units to go and deal with this. And we're going to have to come back and get something together to hold this push. See the 10+1 range at the moment, that +2 should probably be on the way. On the other side of things, the GE versus GE collision here. With the mechs, Rva got pretty much all of his upgrades, he's just missing the damage one I think, and one of the armors actually. Sort of a split, but Yoda's not got all the HP upgrades yet, but Rva has definitely prioritised them, so I think the health means more, to be honest, in this matchup. But there are Jedi that are coming forward now, and they're going to be super annoying as they start forcing the units to turn round and shoot backwards and mess with their animations. We managed to get a shield here, and we got some big connections here on the strike mechs that just came too far forward against the assault mechs. The assault mechs proving very good at holding this when these units are not under a shield, just because they've only got 132 HP, and they do so much damage. Got the sentry post there just to keep an eye on things. You see that this Jedi is just vanishing, it's tanking damage here from the mech destroyers. It's causing a real problem here, and these guys have just got a good solid position and just firing away at the units here. You can just see them going down one at a time. And then more conversions coming in, which is just making things very difficult for the mech destroyers of Rva there. Some air coming far forward here to try and snipe some units or workers or whatever, but we do have some anti-air mobiles that are just a relic from the old air shenanigans. But I have a shield here. I don't think we're trading actually that badly because we didn't have that many units. Keeping his army down and stopping him getting a very big count of max range artillery is awesome. Things are not dying too quickly here, to be honest. but it is starting to get worse and worse. Especially with the positioning, because the trees in the way and the shield in the middle here. With the cannons coming out now, I don't think the cannons can be stopped. Yeah, we're losing this Nova processor here. And we're just sort of sitting here in the base where we've pretty much cleaned up that whole push from Hfrye, so Weasel's getting a bit of breathing room to sort of catch up and get back into this game and get his speeder count up. But the assault mechs here doing as much damage as we can, hiding back into the shield. And we're starting to build up mounted troopers, just to give us a bit of a tech switch and a differential and sort of chase this army away if it ever overextends. You see that damage is starting to ramp up a bit. My voice going there a bit. I've been speaking way too much. We've got the rare rebel mech destroyers from Cal here. It'd be much better if he just had speeders that just flew over this army, I would have thought. But you play rebels the way you wanna. Trying to run some mounties in here and just delay them. I don't want them killing my shield because I just have nothing out right now. I'm not that strong. I don't have enough monies. A lot of stuff here. I did ask Weasel to send his speeders over here because he did have air, but I don't know what he did with it. And I hadn't seen it in a while, so I thought maybe it was elsewhere on the map. And the speeders are getting some good damage here against the army. However, I watched him do a lot of damage and I was like, retreat, he does have air. I just didn't want him to lose all his speeders or I felt he could never actually defend himself. But according to Raph after the game, yeah, his air was nowhere to be found, so he could have lost even more, but sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, we've got this Battle of the Shields still going on, but there's so much stuff here for Yoda and Cal. Rva is just losing all of his at the front here. These little grenadiers from the Wookiees do help a bit. Just need to get a lot more out of them. It would be awesome if there was just some Mounties. Oh, that's a not paying attention shot. I've been doing a lot of those in the most recent videos, and there's one from Rva. Doing a bit of damage to his own shield there, killing a couple of his units, but could have been worse. And we've got the air here from Cal that's just going to come, just seeking this air cruiser. There are like a couple of turrets hitting him, so he is losing a bit of air, which is nice, but Rva's having to try and surge forward and snipe cannons, try and kill these assault mechs, as we're getting pushed again here by Raphael. We're just trying desperately to hold this position. Here's the rally point. Trying to get the bug riders together. The advanced mounties. And we're just throwing these in. There's not like a huge amount of strike mechs and stuff. But as we are, we're trying to get the units to move forward, but we're failing a little bit on our coordination. So there's a few strikes just hidden in. There's a couple of scouts as well. It looks like a bit of a misclick there from Raph. Unless he knows something that I don't. And it looks like this position has fallen, which was probably inevitable given there's so much on the ground and so little from this side, because it's mainly just Rva. It's basically 2v1 there. But after that little push from the Mounties, we've got Raph running his mech destroyers forward, but a lot of his artillery are just hanging back, not doing much. And he's sort of losing a lot of his like meat shield components of his army, so it's just going to be the artillery now. But they do have that 12 range. We've got some air here from Weasel. I'm going to come forward and shoot some stuff, which is nice. I did build this turret that we can retreat into. And we try and stop him getting these like double shields, because I think if he gets the double shields it's just going to be so bad for us. And Frost base is basically getting overrun. Another air cruiser's been built and destroyed, kind of just a waste of Nova at this point. But it is nice that they're focusing on Frost base and not just going straight into Rva's eco. We've got Rva telling Frost that he just needs to retreat because his base is gone. It looks like we maybe sent over some of the units that we had over here now, because this front was, well, it was held, but it looks like as soon as we did that, he just gets pushed on again by Hfrye. But I desperately need to deal with this army first, because I need these resources before I can come and help. See those scouts doing zounds of damage there. As we don't really have too much, we've just been spending a lot on units and losing them. And it looks like they've gotten together here and they're trying to go into Rva's eco now. And we've got Weasel, who's actually going to clean this up with his own air here. There's just not enough anti-air. He's Hfrye has sort of underestimated things here, which is going to be really bad for him to lose all of that to just there. We're throwing Mounties in as we can, one at a time, and just try to get these shots off with the assault mechs, and it's doing really well actually against this army. Doing a lot of damage. I see there's still some Jedi from Cal running around. Cal got mech destroyers and Jedi running into Rva's base. And again, we're pushing this back. I think this army's pretty much all died to the air here. And we're getting almost a resounding rout here of the army of Raph. He's almost losing all of it. Just going to let us grab up all this area. I ask Yellow to go and help Rva because things are looking terrible there, but they don't really seem to have much like anti-air. He's cleaned this army up. It's kind of on the three of us to just work together well here and win as many battles as we can if we want to win this game. And you see that Rva has actually gotten some masters out to convert the Jedi of Cal, and he's actually picking up quite a few of them. Because rebels can't convert enemy Jedi, so they can't steal them back. They don't have that technology. And the speeders are going to prove very effective at just pushing this army back here. There's not really been too much damage done to Rva's eco really, because they've just sort of funneled into this choke where there wasn't too much, like most of the stuff's down here. Layering into the sides here, the forests. We've got this turret that they can retreat the air into as well. Rva can try and focus on stealing all of these Jedi. There's going to be another push, I think, from Hfrye, but we might be able to come and help with that. It sort of just depends. There's a holocron telling Rva or someone to grab that up, since it's just going to be free monies, and we're definitely going to need the Nova the way that this game's going. This is going very long game. But this is a big crumble here from Yoda and Cal as they're getting pushed back. Just not able to deal with the added speeders, and now Rva is getting so many Jedi just stealing them off of Cal. He's going to have to stop building those. And it's going to prevent them ever being able to make assault mechs for a while anyway, until they kill these off. Apparently this is fully walled. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I thought there was a gap here, but apparently not. My workers just would not go. So I had to delete it. I just threw all these out because I wanted to grab all the Nova. So Hfrye, once again, he's thinking about it. Does he want to push? You can see he's gone mental with the anti-air now after the last push, since he lost everything to the air. I thought we've got a little bit of time. I was going to try and get some strike mechs out and do a bit of raiding, maybe get on their trade and stuff here. But you can see that Raphael's tried to come round this way now to have a more open area, sit on this hill. And we kind of just race to meet him here in the field, because I just don't want to fight him when he's under shields. Just trying to get as much damage done, but he's sitting on the hill now and I'm like, no, that's going to be pain for me. So I have to pull back a bit, and we try to build another shield a little bit further forward. Just try and isolate these battles as far away from our eco as we can. So we're grabbing up all this over here. Right next to him. Side by side. Let's go. Steal it all. Eco-terrorism. That's right. Looking at the other side of things, I don't know if they've actually gotten everything together here. You see they tried to get these AT-ATs and stuff together, but there's still the air here from Weasel doing a good amount, and the Jedi as well, converting things. I don't know if Frost maybe had these hollows, but he should give them over to Rva at this point. And we're starting to take the trade now with Raph here as he's pushing in, but we do have shields, so it's not the best for him. It's going to do a lot of damage. The Wookiee mechs and like this sort of core army, it just feels like paper mache, you know, when it's not under a shield. I'm a big fan of the Wookiee troopers with the artillery. I like the Grenadiers, the Mounties, and what have you. I love to mix them in. I think they're just such a strong element of that Civ that it's better than trying this like mech artillery core. Particularly when you're facing good mechs like TF. But we need to win this battle so I can come and help Weasel on this side now. So Hfrye's sort of coming in. I just told him, when I win this I can come and help you. Because I need this army just reset so I can have some breathing room. Otherwise I'll just have 12 range artillery on top of me. I got Rva pushing things back now here. These guys, they're fighting in very awkward channels and areas just because of the way all the cliffs and the trees work on this map. It's very hard for people to actually push through the middle because if you look at the chokes and stuff. That's why we've had Raph coming over this way now. And we're sending our army over now to try and clean up Hfrye's push. But he's cutting corners with a lot of his army, so before it was kind of weak to Mounties and air, but now he's just weak to Mounties. And it's mainly just mech destroyers and anti-airmobiles. And because we got all these Mounties out and fully upgraded, we are going to get some great damage here on his army. As we pull everything back. But as soon as we sort of move out, we've got Raphael going straight back onto this hill. And Rva is just sort of committed to holding things here, I think, rather than try to push and win it. These air cruisers are probably going to get some big shots here, since he's not really got his own air or anti-air. But the shield is tanking a lot of that. They do have a high health pool, so it's not the worst. But it might have some consequences here when the mech starts shooting at them and they're missing health. Hfrye's army just getting decimated here, I think, between the air, the Mounties and the mechs. And we've got Raph who's just not quite content to push yet. He's getting slowed down here by Rva's Jedi, just pushing up and maybe killing a couple of power cores. Some panic pummels, I think, rather than artillery. Stealing some carbon now. We desperately need it. As we've got Frost who's established himself here in the corner to just steal all of the carbon from me. Turn it into traders and... I mean, he doesn't really have any units. Feels bad. I'm going to need the carbon to make these armies win these trades. The Mounties are still here, just doing tons and tons of damage. It's a really bad effect here for Hfrye. And pushing back this army a little bit. A lot more air out for Raphael now. Pulling our army back to this area, because I just don't want him pushing on me. I've got Weasels coming over here again with his air. He can come and kill these air cruisers, which they've tried to get together. And it looks like they've just started to push Rva back again. So the air is going to be huge here. Killing all these bounty hunters that must have been chasing down his Jedi. I don't know if they must have converted this turret. That's annoying. But he is just going to run through it and kill all the air cruisers here, which will be great for Rva. It'll take a while for those to get built back up again. He needs to pull his air back. He doesn't want to take this trade under the turret with the enemy fighters. We're feeling solid here in the middle though. We've pretty much sort of cut Raphael's army off from Hfrye now. And we've still got Mounties just running through. He's trying to build troopers and stuff to clean these up. Just absolute chaos in his base right now. I really wanted to come and help Rva now with like Mounties and stuff, but I just did not have the population. I've just been maxed like the whole game. I wanted traders as well, and I don't have the pop for those either. I never felt that rich. It's only now, like after I've not been losing like most of my army for a while, that my resources will start to stack up a bit. I'm gonna be honest though, I need to check. Did I actually upgrade my eco? I might not have done that. I've been so distracted. No, I have. I'm a good boy. Where's the hit? Yeah, I've done okay. So yeah, I've just been buying too much stuff during the game now. Just dirt poor all the time. It's nice that we can keep this army in this little choke, because it makes it so much less effective. Try to push forward again, clip it, keep the numbers down. There's the air for the Mounties. But I rate the assault mechs in this position when the army, only like half the army can fire. Oh, big connections. On the other side of things, the more air cruisers pushing again. Got some Mounties that I managed to throw out, but as I said, we're always maxed. And we've got Weasel coming in here, doing some damage as well, which is good. So we lose some of our stuff, but we've really kept this army, like it's so small now. And the smaller it is, the much easier it will be to actually kill off with Mounties. I've asked him to send the air over and help Rva, because we just can't have him lose. I don't want him to have like a win condition here. I'm quite content to just sort of take every win I can here on this side. Try to run strike mechs in the eco, which Raphael's got a few units here just sitting waiting for them to protect the trade. Assault mech or air cruiser firing at power core. These Mounties actually, I don't even remember microing these, it's just these ran into my rally point and they're getting some great damage here on these mech destroyers. There's a lot of mech destroyers to lose. It's the carbon actually just ran out really quickly on this map. More ACs being this little gang of converted masters, of Sith masters for Rva. Maybe going to convert some of these units here. Still getting things together. I don't think I've really got any assault mechs at the moment, I'm just a bit poor. So I'm starting to build traders now. Because I need the Nova, but... I'm running these Mounties around. Not sure where these boys are going. Oh, they're the flanking Larrys. I think I had a plan to like flank this army from two sides with Mounties. But there's a pause that happens here and they just sort of run in prematurely and die a bit. I think it's about now. Because I told them to wait, but like for... What is this? I try to go for this, I think. It's so weird. There's a bit of lag there, I think that's the game just sort of resuming properly. The other side of things, this assault mech's coming out from Rva now. They are getting converted. So Cal's effectively going to feed him more Jedi though doing this. See, these are just going to join Rva's side now though. So a lot of resources. To be honest, if he's quick enough he could steal his assault mechs back. If there wasn't the speeders there just killing them quickly. So yeah, we've got these Mounties from two sides, so we're just hoping to sort of sandwich the army and wipe it. I'm never looking to like win this side too much, I just want to keep it down, because look how many artillery there is now. If they get under a shield, and it is a little bit tricky for me to flank with these cliffs in the way as well. My units will sort of get bunched together. Another crazy push here with the rebel mech destroyers and some air cruisers here, but everything just doesn't feel too coordinated, and with all the chokes and stuff it just feels like they're losing on cost efficiency. Did get this turret up here because I just didn't want the air coming and like killing one of my flanks. Because that's almost his answer to Mounties now, so he's getting pushed back a little bit. I don't know if I was maybe just getting fed up and I was like, right, fuck you, let's go. But that looks like where this moment is, but it's so difficult to coordinate everything through the cliffs. But army is splitting up a little bit, which means maybe one flank of it's going to go down, which is great for me. I just want the numbers down. The stronger it is, the easier it is for him to get shields in good positions. It's just a lot of converting and killing things off. Weasel helping out with his air there on Rva's side. Another push has just gotten together for Hfrye. But the trade's really going now for Rva, and he's sort of like Jedi and assault mechs now at this point. Which is not too bad, because he can just keep the assault mechs, sort of guarantee their existence by the Jedi. And we've really just sort of torn this army to shreds now, just because of that one flank going down. Everything's spaced out really well, the artillery's not doing as much damage as it would want to, there's no shields as well to double their health, make them more oppressive. And we're just getting on top of everything now. And that was a lot of artillery that went down. Big, heavy eco burden that. Weasel just stalling with his forts and his troopers here, which is all we could really ask for him here. That's all we need. More Jedi coming through here, and Cal, like, he's just losing them. They're getting converted every time. There's this assault mech with nothing to kill it other than Weasel's units here. Could get the upgrade for his assault mechs though, so they can shoot air. Be good. But it looks like we have burst through the middle here. I'm not really seeing a response or an answer to this army as Raph loses his forward. Weasel's stalling here, try to push Hfrye back a little bit. I think what you could do is get all his troopers into the forts, would be good. Get some grenadiers as well. Maybe build his own mounties. Got some mounties running around here. Maybe find this power core in these masters. Which is almost like a, you maybe don't want to do that. You know, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. You should just let him keep building Jedi, because Rva is almost waiting here for them to rally through so he can convert them. You know, he's got the recruitment gang waiting here. Just asking for a moment of their time to talk about serving the cause. They could use, oh look, Frost's got some units. After eating like all the, oh I needed to check actually. Yeah, he's got 6,000 carbon. I've got none. I've got no carbon anymore. But our boy Frost here has pilfered like 6,000. That's after building his 10 million traders as well. To make his food and Nova units here at the end of the game. Please donate. Please give me the carbon. I need it. If I'd lost this army, I'd be so doomed. But thankfully, I got Cal first to resign. No one would not expect that. And things getting pushed there. We can see that nice upgrade then, shooting at the air cruisers. They don't do too much damage though, do they? And that'll be it. So things are looking pretty bleak in this game for the longest time. Mainly because both wings were pretty much dead. But we've held on. And we've gotten a win out of it. Not really much else to say. I'm just waiting for people to accept defeat. And there they go. And then I'll get into the score screen and we can look at the stats. Cheeky shield. So GG there to everyone involved. Tough game. Mainly driven by pain and suffering to push through and get that win. And I think Cal just feeding Jedi and making mech destroyers is not a very good move on this side. It's definitely weakened their efforts to kill Rva. So let's have a look at the old. So you can see there's the scores. Military stats, 855 kills. Cal with the largest army. Raph losing the most units. They got the most food. Big Nova gains for Cal. Rva on all the techs. And Frost with 231 traders. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, like and subscribe. If you look in the description you will find the links to Voobly, where you can play the game online. I'll just show you that. That's Voobly. It's just me right now. Please join me. There's really only just me here. You can get the game in desktop resolution like we just had it there before. It's got a lot of fixes to stop out of syncs and that. And you can join the GBG Discord, which is I just had there before. And if you want to donate to the channel, buy me a coffee, you can find the PayPal link there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.